and welcome to E-Magazine. I'm your host, Brenda 𝐄-𝐌𝐀𝐆𝐀𝐿. Now, the Kenyan film space has become diverse over the recent years as the production of films has turned its scope to producing content that captures bigger audiences within the Kenyan market. On E-Magazine today, we take a close look at this by understanding the role language plays in the Kenyan acting space. And joining me today on E-Magazine to help shed light on this conversation is talented actor Mufti Musa. Welcome to Metropole Studios. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, great. So let's just get right into today's conversation. But first, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yes?
Yeah.
I hope you're excited for this interview.
I'm very, very much excited.
So, you're a Swahili actor.
Yes.
How long have you been playing that role in the Kenyan acting space right now?
For now, I've played that role for the last 5 years. Yeah, both as a visual actor and as a voice actor as well.
Wow,
Yes.
I can tell from the voice.
Thank you.
Now, how did you get into acting in the first place?
Actually, let me say by sheer luck, because I'd taken someone to an audition, a Swahili program back then, and to 2013, yeah, sometime 2013, 2014. So the lady was last to get into the audition room. So unfortunately, she had no partner to read the script with. So the director came out and said, "You, just come, help this lady to get her lines." So I took the script, went through the lines, and as to use his words, he said I delivered the lines the way they were supposed to be. So that's how I got my first role. 3 weeks later, he said, "You got the role," and she didn't, unfortunately.
Wow, so you just like that, you ended up getting this role that
Just
you did
like
not even try for.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually pure luck. You being a Swahili actor in the Kenyan acting space, have you faced any challenges in terms of getting, roles in different series or films? Has that been something you've come through?
As a Swahili actor?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say...
Or even as an actor in general?
As an actor in general, let me say not really, because we Swahili actors in Nairobi, we are very few. I can count 10 people whom I'm sure when you call for a Swahili audition, they will be there always. So for the Swahili parts, no. The problem is that now many producers thought that Mufti doesn't know how to speak English, because out of 42 productions that I've done, 37 have been in Swahili.
Wow.
So until one day a producer said, "I want to see you have an audition using your phone, introducing yourself both in the coastal English and then the normal English, the coastal accent where we speak. My friend, I'm going to tell you something different." So you want
so there's a coastal English. Actually, I'm learning this today. I didn't even know there's a coastal English.
There is. They say we speak English while we are exhaling.
Okay.
Or rather, while we are inhaling sometimes. So actually, the producer thought that I speak that kind of Swahili, that kind of English all the time. So she asked me to do an introduction of myself using the phone, and she was impressed to find that I can speak English the same way I do in Swahili. Wow. Yeah.
So do you prefer getting roles that focus on Swahili or English?
As an actor, I need to be diverse. So most importantly, it depends on the story.
Okay.
Yes. If you're going to have a coastal setting, or if you're going to have a coastal setting, it's best to use Swahili, because one, you're going to reach out to the audience that's down at the coast, and to the other people in and around Kenya, mostly or mashinani, and maybe in Tanzania as well. Okay. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that there are not a lot of actors who speak Swahili. You can actually count.
Yeah.
Now, is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
It is an advantage to me and to us, because now, at any given time, when there's a Swahili production, be it now video, or if it's an animation where we need to voice it in Swahili, or even now the Swahili MVOs, the TVCs that are done in voice, we are always there. There's just the 10 of us.
So you're 100% you're just going to get this role?
I'm 100% sure that I'm going to give my best, and then I'll upon to the producers and the directors to choose. Okay, great. Yes.
Now, you have done both works in Nairobi and Mombasa as well.
Yes.
So I just wanted you to explain to me if there's any, the kind of transition from Mombasa to Nairobi. Are there any differences when it comes to the films that are done in Mombasa and Nairobi, or you kind of experience the same thing?
I can say for a fact, Nairobi sometimes, in a bigger part, lack originality.
Okay.
Yes. In terms of how the stories are written compared to Mombasa. You see, for example, the Mombasa shows that are done in Swahili, even in English, the story just connects directly to the space and the area that they're trying to target. Okay. But in Nairobi, most things are done in a way that to compete with the Western world or maybe with the West Africa and South Africa. Yeah, we lack the originality in Nairobi.
So the films or the series you do in Mombasa are more authentic, and you know the people from Mombasa can relate to the TV shows that you produce.
Yes.
Now, you being an actor who speaks both languages, English and Swahili, do you find that you're more able to get acting roles as compared to someone who just speaks one language?
Yes, that's for a fact. Sometimes, you know, you need to get into, sometimes you get into a production and the script might be in English or in Swahili, but the character that you're playing, maybe he or she needs to speak in a language that the people around them in the set will be able to understand.
Okay.
So you might find Mufti is supposed to speak in English or in Swahili.
Yeah.
But the person that I'm speaking with is a grandmother who doesn't really understand English.
Okay.
So the character sometimes, as myself, I can recommend to the director that for this role that you're giving me, the character prefers to speak in a language that will be understandable to the person, and it will bring that originality now to the set.
Which makes a lot of sense, actually.
Exactly.
Now, for a fact, now in Kenya, there have been a lot of productions based on Swahili, and you find that people they relate to that content more as compared to English content.
Yes.
So now, you being an actor who speaks Swahili very well, and you've done many productions to do with Swahili, can you be in a position to ask for more? Because then, you know, if it translates to people viewing this content, this means there's a lot of viewership, there's money going into these productions. So you know you're an important actor when it comes to Swahili. Now, can you be in a position to ask for more money as an actor?
Yes, the good thing with the film industry in Kenya, they get to pay you with how many years you've been in the industry, the experience that you have.
So that matters.
That really, really matters.
Okay.
Because for a beginner will come and maybe take 20 takes for one scene. But you see now with experience now, maybe one scene can have only 3 takes. So the faster it is for the production, the faster it is for them also to produce and send the content to the media house. And then in turn, after maybe the first season, you can say, okay, you saw my performance in season 1. Now season 2, I'd want this and this as my pay. Will you be able to reach there? They say yes, or you come to a consensus and agree, we'll pay you this for this time and then increase it later.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, I know a question that's on the minds of a lot of people is, does Swahili acting pay here in Kenya?
Yes, Swahili acting pays.
A lot?
Acting pays. Actually, voice acting pays more than TV acting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is it that the market is bigger for voice actors?
Yeah, for the voice actors, the market is big. And then the clients understand the work that is put in by voice actors. And then they also understand that in Nairobi, to get the Swahili actors, it's just a tough task.
It's a tough, okay.
So with the studio engineers, they just recommend, they say, okay, you want this type of voice, you want this type of intonation, I'll call you Mufti. But here's Mufti's rate card. And then also the good thing, as voice actors, we have what we call our Voice Actors League of Kenya. We have our own rate card for Kenyan work, East African work, Africa and global. So as well as TV acting, we have Kenya Actors Guild, where we have our rate cards. So once you want my services, if it's TV acting, I'll present my KAG rate card. If it's voice, I present my VLAK rate card. If you can't get to that level, then I tell you, okay, I can't
work with you. Wow.
Yeah.
So why do you think Swahili productions are more popular than English productions, especially in Kenya right now?
For now, I'll say they're not that popular, but
they're getting
the impact that they've made for the last 3 years, now you'll find no Nairobi producer will dare write a Swahili script because of what the Mombasa team is doing right now.
Okay.
Yes. If you want to write a very good Swahili script, you have to understand how the language is spoken in that specific area. Because in Mombasa, we have our own way of speaking Swahili. In Malindi, they have their own dialect. In Lamu, in Kilifi, Kwale, in Taita, Voi, all those areas. So you need to know how the language is spoken in that specific area. So for Nairobi, you see, when someone writes a Swahili script, they write it in general.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of them just write an English script, Google Translate, That's why sometimes you find some productions.
Can we really trust Google?
No, because
I remember I used to use Google back in the day when I used to do my exams in Swahili, but
unfortunately we can't. That's why I tell many people, you know, in Swahili, kila neno lina maana tofauti kulingana na muktadha unaotumika. Wow,
I'll pretend and act like I just understood what you just said.
So every word has a different meaning according to the context. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So if you just go to Google Translate and just put it there and just bring it out to the script, it won't make sense.
It's true. Well, I'm enjoying the conversation we're having right now, but I also want to familiarize the audience with some of your work that you've done. And so we'll therefore take a look at Chini ya Mnazi. This is one of your works. Yes. And then we'll take a short commercial break and come back. Welcome back. Now, before you took a short commercial break, we were discussing the role of language in the Kenyan acting space. Languages such as English and Swahili, does it really determine the success of an actor in the Kenyan industry? And to help me have that conversation today is Mufti Musa, who is an amazing actor in the Kenyan space. But we're just going to jump right into what you were talking about, Mufti. Now, I know you mentioned that you know, Swahili production is not as popular in Kenya right now, but when we move to just not far from us, you know, the bongo movie industry in Tanzania, which is one of the biggest in East Africa. So what do you think they have done successfully to put themselves in that position that Kenya hasn't done?
For the research that I've done, Tanzania and the bongo film industry have a middle section or a middle company that people who specifically deal with distribution. So as a producer, your work is just to go out there, get the actors, get the script, get the locations, shoot, bring it to the middle people who are the distributors. They get to buy the content from you at whatever price that you've put, and then they find now the stations for them to air. So for you, as a producer, your work is kind of helped out by those middlemen. So once you get your cash, in 10 days you've produced a movie. So you come, edit, let's say 5 days. On the 6th day you present to the distributors, they like your content, they take it. They give you your profit and plus the money that you used. You go back again for the next maybe another 10 days, you make another movie. So in a month, one producer can make 2 or 3 movies. So times 10 good producers, those are 30 movies already in a month. You see. So they're able to distribute them now to their media stations, and that way viewers get to understand, oh, Tanzania, we have this and this kind of content. You want comedy, go to this station. You want drama, go to this station. You want now thrillers and everything, go to this station.
Great. So in Kenya, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. I'll say that the mainstream media letting us down. Kidogo tu. If you compare it now to the other big station that rules now Africa, there's a big difference in terms of how they want the quality of programs. Actually, before the station now became available to every Kenyan via now whatever their gadgets they had or the gadgets that they have, many Kenyans thought that, oh, Kenya hamna vipindi. Vipindi ambavyo mko navyo ni hivi ambavyo tunaviona huko kwingine, huko kwingine, huko kwingine. They now understand that, oh, kweli now good production.
It's true.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to search for these different shows for Swahili especially.
Yes.
It's not as easily accessible like the English ones. So I think that's something in Kenya itself that we need to change a bit, because I can just switch on the TV and find bongo movies and series as compared to Kenyan ones.
Yeah.
Lazima nitafute sana. Now, another thing I want to talk about is, you know, in the Hollywood space, you've noticed that they are trying to explore African culture. Take, for example, Wakanda, where they had the actors speaking, you know, South African language. I think it was either Afrikaans or Xhosa. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Now, even in Swahili, they've tried to do the same thing. You find films that speak Swahili.
Yes.
But one thing you can notice is that they tend to teach their actors these languages.
Yeah.
Now, how can an actor like you in the Kenyan space brand themselves in such a way that when these Hollywood producers come to, you know, Kenya to shoot something, they pick someone who actually speaks Swahili, which how it's supposed to be represented?
Now, with the Kenya Actors Guild, the previous management, now that we have a new management, they both want actors to have managers.
Yeah.
You see, once you have a manager, now it's easy for you to access the Hollywood casting directors.
Okay.
Because you can send your links directly if you have a showreel, your portfolio, or bio, but you see, if it comes from a manager, it holds more water than the person maybe who sends his directly. So that's the angle that Kenya Actors Guild is helping actors get to. And also we now have our profiles on IMDb.
Okay.
So it's easier now, you get a casting director's contact, maybe in Hollywood or in England or even South Africa, and forward to them your profile. Then from there, they get to know who you are and also ask for more reels from you. So you send to them, and then you hope and wait.
Wow. So is that something you're doing right now? Are you trying to get into that international space as an actor?
Yes, I am. Actually, this year I want to do more English productions as well, so that I can be able to have an English showreel and a Swahili showreel. But mainly I want to concentrate on my voice work as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you think the Kenyan film industry right now, from where it started, are we authentic? Have you achieved the whole idea of being authentic in terms of the content produced? And if we have, how is it so far?
From the time that I joined 5 years ago, I can say yes, we have been authentic, because we've reached to a point where you might not be entertained by a certain show. That means there's a certain clique of people who are entertained by that show. You prefer a certain type of show. There are those who now prefer 𝐄-𝐌𝐿𝐻𝐿 every Saturday. Especially now, the reason as to why we use Swahili, for example, in 𝐄-𝐌𝐿𝐻𝐿, because now we've reached out to the students, the class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4.
It's
now
just not an older audience.
Yeah, now they actually for season 1, we were targeting the older people. And then now we toured some places, Meru, Nakuru, Mombasa. You find that teachers tell their students, on Saturday, please don't miss 𝐄-𝐌𝐿𝐻𝐿 from 7:30.
Okay.
Muweze kujua vile Kiswahili kinavyoongewa, muweze kujua mashairi, mafumbo na jinsi hali ya maisha ilivyo. Na tabia za watu, kwa sababu si kwa ubaya kwamba vijana wengi sasa tumeweza kupotoka kimaadili. Sasa angalau 𝐄-𝐌𝐿𝐻𝐿 inaweza kufunza watu jinsi tabia katika jamii yetu ya Kiafrika, Kikenya inavyopaswa kuwa.
Wow, so it plays the role of educating.
Yes, exactly.
It's just not a show.
It's not just a show.
Great. Now, I just want you to tell me about your experience as an actor. Like, is the Kenyan industry very easy? Is it easy to get into? And once you get into it, are you guaranteed that you're going to be successful?
To anyone who's trying to be an actor out there, Kenya is competitive.
Very competitive.
Very competitive. You know, most people don't know this because we are still in that, let me say, that zone where most people just say, careers are just daktari, nini, pilot, engineer, all that stuff. But creative and showbiz is one of the biggest industry in Kenya. So it's not easy. One, patience, hard work. Yes, there's talent, there's passion, but how dedicated is one? If maybe someone just comes, niko na talent ya kuact, nataka kuingia kuact, namuuliza umeact wapi drama? Okay, tell me a brief history of the Kenyan industry. Hajui. So you see, for a person like that, akienda kwenye audition, you just be kicked out. but it's very, very competitive. You ask for this certain type of character, you find
you get
like
a different character.
100 or 150 people auditioning for the same role, and you find maybe 70 are done their best. So it's a very competitive industry. I'll say for myself, I got a quick break because I used Swahili.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a veteran actor by the name 𝐄-𝐌𝐀𝐆𝐿𝐍𝐄, the directors in Carol Odongo, they told me, since you have a power in Swahili, you're good at Swahili, use that to get you to a level now where all producers and directors now know there's Mufti.
There's Mufti.
Yeah. So, but for the people who come in trying to speak or trying to act in the English language, it's very competitive because you'll find those with American accents, wapo. Those with British accents, wako. Those with
So it's way more competitive.
Yes,
So
very, very competitive.
now that obviously there's so many productions doing Swahili, meaning there's so many actors coming up who speak Swahili as well. Hasn't that space become competitive as well?
Yes, it has.
But it's not as compared to English.
Yes, it's not compared to English. But you see, now even it's reached a point where you find an audition in Swahili for Swahili program in Nairobi, Mombasa actors will come.
Okay.
Yes. And Swahili audition in Mombasa, we the Nairobi actors go there.
They go
So
there.
once they see us there, I'm like, jamaa wametuletea shida. But you see, si shida, kwa ni shida kutafuta kazi, inasaidia mtu sasa kuboresha kazi yake Kiswahili. Ataingia huko ndani, afanye jaribio lake vizuri. Na hapo unajua hakuna uzuri kwamba ukiingia kwenye audition, ufanye bidii, ufanye kazi yako vizuri, ukitoka hapo wajua kwamba nimewapa 100%. Inachosalia sasa ni waelekezi na watayarishi wachague na atapata.
Great. That's wonderful. Now I just want you to give people like advice, especially guys who want to, transition from English acting to Swahili acting. What can make them a great actor within that space? What kind of tips can you give to those individuals?
With actors, I usually say that actors are the same level as musicians. Musicians get to train with their guitars, with their pianos, their vocal cords and every time. So as an actor, even if you're good in English now, but you want to become better in Swahili, you start now that process of speaking Swahili on your day-to-day life. Starts with the way maybe you converse at home, the way you text. Full Swahili. Hakuna njia mkato sijui nini shenga. Just use.
I need to take these tips.
Yes, full Swahili. Actually, I can say I've helped around 10, 12 actors now who are not good in Swahili. And now they can confidently read a Swahili script and understand it and deliver it within the shortest period of time if they are called urgently to a set.
Wow.
So it's all about training, practice. For myself, they call me Mufti, yes, but kwa nyumba nina kamusi.
Okay.
Nina kitabu cha wala bin wala. Nina mafumbo. I train each and every day.
Okay.
Kila siku lazima nijifunze karibu misamiati 10.
Wow. Now that you even mentioned that you have a kamisi in the house. Kamusi. Sorry,
yeah.
not a kamisi. God, my Swahili. I need to take lessons after this. We'll talk, we'll plan. Now, you being really good in Swahili and understanding that, that language and being able to act in that language is such a big deal, actually. Have you tried to transition into script writing scripts in Swahili?
Yes, actually, I am a studio Swahili director for Swahili animations.
Wow, okay.
Or now, see, we have the dubbing industry where programs come in Spanish or English and we have to do them in Swahili.
Wow.
So I'm a script supervisor, script translator, Swahili script transcriber, and now I'm a Swahili acting coach as well.
That's amazing. Now I'm very much reconsidering not knowing Swahili well. I am actually going to go talk to my parents about this. Thank you so much for being on E-Magazine today, Mufti. I've had an amazing conversation with you today. I hope I'll have you another time.
Of course.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the trending movies that made it on our movie reel today. Welcome back. Now we're going to move straight into taking a look at some of the trending movies that made it to Real Talk today. Well, here are the movies.
Payday is payday. Swipe my card, then I do the next.
Well, those are some of the films that made it to the Real Talk today. Do let me know what your thoughts are on those movies, if you've watched them, and if you like them on our social media platforms at Metropole TV KE. Now we're going to move on to the entertainment news and check out the headlines that made it there today. Viacom, the company behind Paramount Pictures and such cable networks as MTV, Nickelodeon, BET, Comedy Central and Paramount Network on Friday reported better than expected fiscal second quarter earnings as its film unit profit rose, marking the 9th straight quarter of improved year-over-year bottom line results. The company, led by CEO Bob Bakish, posted adjusted earnings of $383 million or 95 cents per share, compared with $371 million or 92 cents a share in the year-ago period. Wall Street had on average expected Viacom to report adjusted earnings of 81 cents per share. Quarterly revenue of nearly $3.0 billion declined from $3.2 billion in the same quarter last year, coming in below analysts' expectations. For the film unit, whose releases in the latest quarter included Wonder Park, Viacom posted adjusted operating income of $29 million compared with a year-ago profit of $9 million. Analyst Nate Nathanson had forecast a quarterly loss of $20 million amid a 3.5% revenue decline, with some spillover from Bumblebee, help theatrical offset by home video revenue declines. Now moving on to the next story of today actress Felicity Huffman to plead guilty to U.S. college cheating scam. Now, actress Felicity Huffman is due to plead guilty on Monday to paying to have someone cheat on her daughter's behalf on a college entrance exam, part of a wide-ranging scandal in which her wealthy parents used bribery and fraud to secure the children's spots at prominent U.S. universities. The one-time star of the television series Desperate Housewives is set to plead guilty in Boston federal court to a conspiracy charge for paying $15,000 to have someone secretly correct her daughter's SAT college entrance exam answers. She is among 50 people accused of taking part in a scheme that involved cheating or bribery. Wealthy parents paid $25 million to bribe coaches to help their children gain spots at universities such as Yale, Georgetown, and University of Southern California. Avengers Endgame stays #1 while Detective Pikachu debuts with solid $58 million. Disney and Marvel's Avengers Endgame remained victorious at the North American box office, collecting $65 million during its third weekend in theaters. Now, Avengers Endgame officially passed Avengers Infinity War by $679 million, and Black Panther, which had scored $700 million to become the third highest grossing movie of all time at the domestic box office, with $724 million in ticket sales. It's still the second biggest film ever globally, with $2.48 billion, pacing behind just after Avatar with $2.7 billion. However, Endgame's third straight box office success didn't come without a little competition. Warner Bros. And legendary Detective Pikachu gave Earth's mightiest heroes a run for their money. The studio's live-action Pokemon adaptation put in a solid $58 million when it launched its 4,202 venues. Now, we've sadly reached the end of E-Magazine today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you do the same tomorrow, same time and same place. But for now, till next time.